Hi fish folks, Rich here again. So it's Sunday afternoon and gonna head out for a conger session this evening. So just gonna head up to by one of the ferry terminals on the river. Tried there a couple of times and lost eels on both trips. So hopefully tonight we'll get one on the bank. So gonna be fishing with Brian. So we're actually gonna fish down to low this evening. Tried it on high tides previously. Most of the action occurring as would be expected around low slack water, so we'll see if the same on low. And but before I head up there, I'm just gonna do a little video clip for you showing how I put a conger snood together and the end tackle that we're going to be using this evening, because it's going to be dark, so probably easier just to make a little short video of that. So show you that and then I'll see you in the darkness. So see you later on. Bye for now. Hi folks, so just going to show you how I make up my conger snoods. There's obviously several ways of doing this, but this is my preferred way. You might have another way that you prefer better. So on this one I'm just going to use mustard O'Shaughnessy and an 8-0. Quite like these hooks because if you do get a deep hooked fish and you do have to cut the line, they will actually rust down fairly quickly. That's going to be put on some Mason hard type mono in 80-pound test. This is quite a stiff material, not very easy to knot, so I use that with a 1.6mm double crimp, and then on the back end of it a power swivel. So I think that's a 300-pound power swivel. And then the tools you need: pair of scissors, some crimping pliers and a hook sharpener, because the mustard hooks aren't very sharp out the packet and do need sharpening up. So starting point is to cut yourself approximately 2.5 foot length of the hard mono. Easier if you cut that across at an angle, because it'll make it easier to thread through the crimps. So double crimp on, swivel on, bring it back through the crimp, pull that down tight, and then take your crimping pliers and just squeeze the crimp down. I usually give it two squeezes. That's done. At the other end, double crimp, 8-0 hook, back through the crimp, pull down tight, and again two squeezes with the crimping pliers, and that's all good. That's solid now. So I've never had one of these part ever. Sometimes you can melt the end of the mono just to give you a blob there, but I've never had one pull back through, so that's not a problem. Next thing is this is not a very sharp hook out the packet. So I've got my hook sharpener. This is one I've had for years, which I actually got from the States. So this is a Finland Viala hook sharpener, which is very easy to use, and it's just a question of then rubbing down the point. So rubbing down the sides takes a little while, but what we're trying to do is get a point that feels sticky. So you can see that now, that's already getting some stickiness, so we're nearly there with it. It doesn't take long, but it will make a big difference in terms of potential hooking. I wish people would stop messaging me because I'm trying to make a video. And now we have you can see that it's a lot more sticky now. So now the other thing you'll notice is that this snood material is fairly springy. It's incredibly tough, but quite springy. So I like to relax it down a bit before use. It will relax down after you've cast it around a few times with a big bait on, but I do prefer to try and relax it down first. And to do that, I basically run it over the top of a boiling kettle, which I will go and do, and I will bring it back and show you the difference that makes. So that's just had the kettle steam treatment, and as you can see, all those, hopefully you can see, all those coils have now dropped out, and we've got a nice snood ready to go. The reason I tend to use a single hook more is, one, conger fishing, you're fishing very snaggy ground, so less hooks, less chance of snagging. And the other reason is that it can be dangerous with a pennel rig if you've got an eel. They will twist around a lot, and if you've hooked it on the bottom one and the top one's loose, you've obviously got a hook flying round with a writhing eel on the bottom and a reasonable chance of ending up with a hook in your hand. So that's basically the simple, quick way to make a conger snood. No point fishing for them if they're gonna bite straight through your line, and they won't bite through that. Okay, so I'll just show you a typical conger setup. A lot of your fishing is going to be close in, so you don't need anything more complicated than a simple running ledger. So this is what I'm going to be using on tonight's session. So we've got a swivel with a bent Gemini clip. That's got a short length of 18-pound line. I've tied a couple of overhand knots in it to create some weak points to make it easier to snag. And I'm actually using a cannonball lead. These tend to work pretty well over rough ground actually. Even though we're fishing in the tidal river, we are fishing around slack water periods and also on neap tides, and they do, once they get lodged in, do tend to hold bottom pretty well. Remember, we're fishing at fairly close range anyway, so it's just a simple case of taking your reel line. So in this case, I'm using 37-pound Rovex. Thread swivel on, so you've just got a running ledger. Then straight on with a bead just to protect your knot. And then tie on your pre-made snood. So I usually use a sort of 4 or 5 turn uni knot on these. Good reliable knot. So that's just go along, form a loop, and then wrap it through 4 or 5 times. Remember to wet it before you pull tight. There's your knot. Pull down tight, and obviously trim off your excess, and that's basically your rig. Very simple. So before casting, just what I usually do is just give that a few twists. That helps that link up like that. Hook your lead onto the Gemini bent rig clip, so that's ready for casting. Obviously, as soon as that hits the water, that will come off, and then you're then fishing on that weak link. Hi fisher folks, so down at Woodside Ferry trying to get some conger. So we're on neat tides tonight, low water's about 11 p.m. Just fishing down to low. Haven't tried fishing low here before, so should be interesting, but usually the optimal time for fishing for conger is on low tide at neat tide. So we should see how we go. I've got a whole herring out on one on an 8-0 hook, just a simple running lead, and I've got a small J mackerel with a couple of squid bound to it out on the other rods at different distances, just to see if we can find some eels. One's pretty close in, one's punched out a little bit further, still running out pretty hard at the minute, but that should ease off as the tide ebbs a bit more. So just straight ball leads on rotten bottoms, and seems to be holding okay, so we'll see how we go. So hopefully see you later on. So tackle for this evening, I have my trusty old blast from the past Coniflex Nemesis Plus SLR 2002. These are my favourite conger rods, but I am actually going to get them rebuilt early in the new year because getting a bit long in the tooth now. And reel choice today is Daiwa 30 SHA, good solid reel. That's got 37 pound 10x Rovex on. Hi folks, so success at last, little strap conger that actually came out on bullet tuna fillet and a piece of squid. So get him unhooked and back in the water. So nice to see one on the bank at last after several hours waiting. Another little Mersey Conger. It's got a scar across it. It looks like something else has had a go at it at some point. So hey folks, so on to the last cast now. Really dense fog has descended, can't even see any lights over across in Liverpool. So just the one strap conger tonight, but target species was found, so even though it wasn't the biggest one, and so unless this last cast produces something, I think that will be it for the night. So fairly quiet one, but good to get out on a Sunday evening. So thanks for watching, and I shall see you soon, fisher folks. Bye for now.